Hi, so I have read quite a few new adult books over the last couple months, and so I thought originally I was just going to do one big mashup review of them, and then I just realized there's too many and that's not possible. So it's going to be broken down into 3 different sections. I have a Lynn or Jennifer L. Armentrout edition, a Colleen Hoover edition, and then a generic mashup, which is going to have like Cora Carmack and Amy Harmon and can't remember other things. But this is going to be the Lynn or Jennifer L. Armentrout edition. And I have read 3 books, and they are all part of the same series. So the first one is Be With Me, or Wait For You. Trust in Me, which is kind of an in-between book, but I don't view it that way, and Be With Me. So both Wait For You and Be With Me both got 4 stars from me, and Trust in Me got an amazing 5 stars because it's an amazing book. And these books follow their companion stories, so they don't necessarily follow the same characters. There's also a 3rd book in the series, Stay With Me, that should be coming out this fall, I believe, but there's no synopsis or anything, so I have no idea what it's about or who it is about. I have hopes, though. I have hopes. So all of these books are told in first person, which is pretty standard for new adult. I am not the biggest fan of first person, but it's not that bad. And like I said, these 2 are closely connected. So in a way, Trust in Me is Wait For You from the male perspective, which is really interesting, and I much prefer Cam over Avery. Avery is interesting, but Cam is just above and beyond amazing. He's just like the best guy ever. I love him so much. So the basic plotline of these books is kind of similar to the Walking Disaster series, where Cam is kind of seen as a playboy, but I don't really think he is. I honestly just think he's a guy. I don't know why they kind of like promote it as him being like sleeping around and everything, but really he's just a guy in college. You can't. And he meets Avery on the first day of her freshman year of college. They literally run into each other, and he is intrigued by this girl, and she just keeps pushing him away and pushing him away. And she, in Wait For You, is having a lot of things to deal with. So she has a past that she is on the run from. She doesn't like to talk about anything. She really doesn't talk to her family at all. She keeps everything hidden, even from the reader, so there's not a lot that you know. But in the book, pretty much from the beginning, she keeps getting phone calls and emails that are aggressive and threatening and rude, and that impacts her behavior and slowly reveals more and more about her past. And both of these books follow their relationship. So he keeps trying to get her to open up. You know, he's waiting for her and asking him to trust in him. So he just keeps trying to get her to tell him what's going on and to open up to him and to go out with him and get to know him, and so that they can potentially be a couple. And you learn more, obviously, about both of them. They both have things to hide, and actually there's a lot more in Trust in Me that you get to learn about Cam and his perspective, and things that you don't really get to see fully in Wait For You, which is really interesting and adds another dimension to this book. What happened to Avery is kind of predictable, but I don't have a problem with that. I read a lot of romance novels, so a lot of them are predictable. It's how you handle the predictable things that really matter to me. And I thought that how Lynn portrayed those things and how she told the story made it okay that I could guess what happened. And there were a couple things that did surprise me. I definitely do think that all 3 of these books, like including Be With Me, are really intense. Especially, in my opinion, Be With Me. I struggled emotionally. Maybe I should tell you what this book is about. So Be With Me is about Cam's sister, Teresa, and she ends up getting into a relationship with Cam's best friend, Jace. And Jace has a secret, and Teresa is dealing with a lot of things. She is coming out of a really bad relationship Also an injury. She was a ballet dancer and she got injured, and she's dealing with that as well. So she's dealing with how to realize that her dream could potentially be over. She's in college because she couldn't go on dancing right now. Dealing with the fact that she has this sort of relationship going on with her brother's best friend, who has his own secrets and his own issues. And then she also has to deal with her own past with her ex-boyfriend and how that's informing her now and her relationships with people now. Basically, they deal with abuse and domestic violence. Especially Be With Me is a very open and honest portrayal of domestic abuse. Oh my gosh, what the characters in this book go through is heartbreaking. Like, literally, the romance is interesting and everything, but and that's okay, and that's a decent part, but the book probably would have gotten like 3 stars for me if it wasn't for the way she handled the domestic abuse portion of it. It literally broke my heart what happened in this book. I feel like I can't talk about it because it's a spoiler, but like, there are things that happen in here that are so sad, and I was crying. I didn't see coming at all, and are brutally honest. These things happen every single day, and it's because people don't say anything and because people don't do anything when they see something going on, and when you have that feeling that allows it to go on. And honestly, that's a really, really important message that this book gets across, is for the most part, if you know somebody and you feel like something isn't right with their relationship, there probably is something wrong, and don't ever be silent. In general, I liked the characters. Avery from Wait For You ran a little hot and cold for me. I didn't really like her a lot of the times. I understand why she did what she did, but and it still bothered me sometimes. Jace was the same way. A lot of his behaviors just, why were you acting in the way you were and saying the things you were? Those I didn't understand. Those were character choices I didn't get at all. Additionally, Be With Me is definitely a much more sexual novel. I mean, there's obviously sexual aspects in all 3 of them, but Be With Me is much more overt and in your face. I mean, there's some steamy crap going on in this book. Additionally, Trust in Me, I'm not sure why you ever would, but don't read this before Wait For You. I don't think it'll make as much sense. This book definitely relies on having read Wait For You. Like, there's things that don't get addressed here, don't get covered here. This book is really about Cam. It is not about Cam and Avery, in my opinion. It is about Cam and his mental state and his growth throughout Wait For You, since you don't get to see all of that. In general, I would definitely recommend them. I mean, I think Lynn or Jennifer L. Armentrout is an amazing author. If you liked Beautiful Disaster, you probably would like these books. I don't like Beautiful Disaster, but I do think they have some of the same basic story components, so it might appeal to you. And I think that, in my opinion, Avery and Cam are like better characters of maybe similar style to Abby and Travis from the Beautiful Disaster series. So, but I definitely think they are good new adult. Wait For You was my first new adult novel, and I definitely thought it was a good introduction. It was dealt with some difficult topics, but did it in an easy, approachable way that didn't feel like, oh my god, what am I going to do? I'm losing my mind. This is too intense for me. And I like getting involved in series and suggesting series to people, because you kind of get connected to these characters and emotionally invested in them. So I do like them in general, and like I said, I would recommend them. If you have read any of these books, let me know what you thought down in the comments. No spoilers, of course. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!